Thank you for signing in to MyGigsters exclusive podcast. And this is Benjemen, CEO and founder of MyGigsters. If you're tuning in for the first time, a quick blurb. We are an exclusive community for gig economy workers and self-employed sole traders across Australia. And this podcast is all about gig economy, sole trading, self-employment, and freelancers. We invite guests, regulators, champions from the ecosystem to share more about their stories and what they do in this space. Today, I've got a good friend, an amazing startup founder, and someone who's disrupting the hyper-localized delivery market in Australia, and also a really good person, really eager to unpack a story and share what he's been doing in the space, and also have an opportunity for you guys to know who they are and to be able to participate in his journey. So with further ado, I've got Jonathan Matthews. Hi, Jonathan.
Hey, Benji. How are you?
Very good, thanks. So Jonathan here is the CEO and founder of the Courier App Company, which is a disruptive new age delivery platform for B2B businesses based, headquartered in South Australia, but operating across Australia and soon global.
Yeah, that's the end goal, Benji.
So I want to start with the first question. And we know you've done multiple businesses in the past, and this is not the first business, and you're more like a veteran in the business world. But what's the story? What's your story, and how did that lead to the Courier App?
So Benji, I've had multiple businesses over my life.
Yep.
You'd call me a serial startup, I guess. I like the challenge, and I love the challenge of starting new businesses. So I've had quite a few successful businesses. One of the biggest issues that I found when having those businesses was to actually get things delivered on time. And it was just a total frustration to me all the times. If you didn't have a courier account, you couldn't get something delivered. And it was just an absolute nightmare. So in between businesses, I was sitting in my lounge room one day and I thought, that was the biggest problem I used to have in my last company. I think I can do this better.
Yeah. And when did Courier App start?
So back in 2019 was when I had the brainwave in my lounge room. So we've done a lot of planning, a lot of development, and brought out our first version of the app. Look, we had a couple of issues across the way. That happens with every app development company, I think, with the tech industry. But over the last couple of years, it's been further developing it more and more.
Nice. I've read that, in a short time, you've done over 40,000 deliveries, and you've got over 1,000 drivers in the community that drives for the Courier App, and there's a lot more in that space. But why did you choose to build it on your own rather than going and, as I'm sure there are other partners out there?
Yeah, look, there are a lot of partners out there, I guess. My vision is probably a little bit bigger than just the standard delivery vision, which might be A to B quick express deliveries. We're really looking at expanding all the way into even the trucking industry for gig economy workers. So it's really turning the courier up industry and the logistics industry upside down. So that's why we kind of went that way.
Nice.
With the 40,000 deliveries, predominantly the 40,000 deliveries have been done in South Australia. And with our 900 drivers, that's actually 900 drivers registered around Australia. So
nice.
Coming up, we're actually looking at expanding Australia-wide in the next few months.
Excellent. I need to ask this question, and because my community will be like, so what's different, right? Okay. Right now, if you talk about delivery in the space, and there are some B2C delivery players who are like Uber, and we've got B2B. Some of this Uber market is trying to come into that space. We've got also other platforms, but what's unique about the Courier App?
Look, I think the uniqueness about it is that we do cover all sectors. You've got a lot of people that are specialising in just B2B or just B2C. We're actually covering B2B, B2C, and also bringing out deliveries in the general public, and that's with our click and collect model that's being released as well.
I like the fact that the point of you enabling hyper-localized delivery in a more efficient and less expensive than other big players, it also cracks the market in different ways. I wanted to take another view of this whole thing because MyGigsters, we talk all about, this growing and fast evolving space of gig economy and the new format of work, which is independent contractors and sole traders. You are now running a gig platform.
Yes, that's right.
And you are taking care of independent contractors, aka drivers in your platform, right? And what's in your view about this whole space of gig economy? What do you see?
Look, I think there's a lot of drivers who've had a very, very rough deal, I think, in the way that they're looked after, etc. I guess our goal is really to build the business. So obviously we've got a lot more deliveries coming out on a daily basis. But one of the things we really, really want to do is actually help set drivers up. So it's not just, they're vying for this job and vying for that job. A classic example is one of our drivers, Andrew, who has worked from us from nearly day one. He started working with us with a $500 crusty old car that, don't ask me how it got from A to B, but it did. But now he's driving a van. He's the most preferred driver with all of our customers.
Nice.
And is making really, really good money like every day. So look, my passion is actually to help people change their lives, not just become another number.
Yeah.
So I always want to have that contact with our drivers no matter what. So Andrew even drops over to my house quite often and just comes in and has a beer or has a chat and stuff like that. So I would never want to lose that, and that's really our focus. One of the things we are going to be releasing in the not too distant future, and it's really to help drivers also, that is a upgrade that we're going to be called Courier App Fleet.
Yep.
So what that's actually going to allow drivers to do is actually start up a business within our business and have drivers underneath themselves, so they can nearly manage their own driver pool and customer base through the app.
Yep.
And it just puts in a situation where good drivers can be rewarded and they can actually build their business. And it's a little bit like the preferred. We actually have a preferred driver option on our app as well. So if you do a really good job, quite often you'll find our customers will actually nominate you as the preferred driver.
Correct.
And those drivers get to see those jobs 10 minutes before anybody else in the network. So people can actually build their business by doing the right thing.
Yeah, I like the fact that it's not just stopping at a sole trader, but you're looking at an opportunity to help them grow their business and potentially become the next zone, which is a small and medium business owner, right?
Yeah.
And where they can outsource this to another drivers, and as long as the benefit flows, benefit multiplies when it flows, and I really like that thing. Now, on the contrary, we are looking at, from an industry-wide space, there are different perspectives to the gig economy, right? One side, the government is trying to regulate the space. The other side, there are platforms who are saying this is all about flexibility, and they're trying to dodge the bullet in a way. And there are other platforms who try to do the other way, and unfortunately the business model or the unit economics do not work, and we saw a few people exiting the business in the space. So from a community perspective, there are different stories out there, right? And what do you see the future of the space to be?
Look, I think the future of the current governments, you're definitely going to find they're going to try and regulate it. The problem is I don't think it'll actually work. They won't be able to regulate the industry because, as your drivers would know, quite a lot of these drivers are driving for different platforms, not just the one platform. So to regulate it and make employees, it's never actually going to get across the line. That's my gut feeling. If it does, there's going to be a lot of companies that go through the hoop. I think our goal as we get bigger and as we grow is really to try and put it in a situation where drivers can actually be looked after in a different way.
Correct.
And it may be something in the future in regards to a percentage of every delivery charged by we charge to our customers goes into a fund or something like that, where drivers might be able to recall on that money for holidays and stuff. And I think that would be groundbreaking, to be honest with you, if we can put it all together.
Yeah, I think what you pointed out is, in travel industry, we call this the chain of responsibility, and the truck industry, and the premise of that is everybody has responsibility for the entire operations to run. And I see the solution to this problem is government, workers union or worker representation bodies, communities, or platforms like MyGigsters or the Courier App company. We all have to work together and each share the responsibility of solving the problem.
Yeah, 100%.
And not just look only at business numbers and think the algorithm will work. which is good, which is very positive. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, I just think in that, like in the long run, when you look
Yeah.
at that side of things, there's so many companies out there though that, and this is what I've experienced with talking to drivers, is it's take, and it's what the company ends up with for themselves. You know, you don't have a company, or you don't have a gig economy business if you don't have the drivers.
Yeah.
So the number one, part of your business, if you don't have it, these companies are crazy. They've got to start looking after their people.
Little fun story, right? When I used to do food delivery many years ago, and I was too young and I didn't really understand what it actually meant. So I would just get a job. I would go wait at a place, and my app will just brighten up, and it'll say, Benji, pick this food from here and drop it here, and I get to accept it or decline it. Often it gives me only a few seconds to do it, and then I do, and I get money paid into the account. But here's the fun part, right? When I started, there was a fixed fee for every delivery. And before that, there was a fixed fee for every hour that I used to work. So in my mind, I used to think, okay, if I do the shift today, I might get, $80 or $100. And that was helpful for me to then balance different things. Then I left the gig economy and obviously went to professional jobs. And then I started seeing the new platforms that were coming up. They started to emphasis more on productivity, which is more deliveries made by a single person in a given hour than about safety, or than about employee wellness or independent contractor wellness or financial wellness or all the other stuff. I like the fact that you're mentioning that as a business owner of a growing company, you are looking at the welfare as a single and as equal component than just productivity, which is, hey, we want to do thousands of deliveries and that's all your goal is. In many ways, you're an early stage, but also rapidly growing. So you're at this beautiful stage where lots are happening at once. So from the Courier apps, what's the next biggest thing that's happening?
Okay, so right now, as I said, we're predominantly in Adelaide.
Yep.
We have some Melbourne customers, but we haven't really serviced them because obviously we want to get our ducks in a row. So we're looking at May for a launch in Melbourne.
Yep.
So we want to hit that pretty hard. In Melbourne, it's probably just after the crowdfunding raise that we're doing shortly. I'll talk to you about that later. So looking at Melbourne, Sydney, we're proposing for, I think it was June, so mid to late June, and then into Brisbane after that. So we really want to start building a network across Australia, but then look, we're not just going to be concentrating on express 2 hour, 4 hour deliveries. We're also looking at contracts for multiple deliveries in runs. So there's a lot of stuff going on at the moment. We've just tapped into the wine industry here in South Australia. That's showing some very promising signs. I think over the next couple of months you're going to see some pretty big things because we're going to be looking at possibly setting up warehouses in different states over the next few months.
Nice.
And actually bring stock across from interstates, and then having one place where drivers can pick up. And there's a lot going on.
Nice. My listeners and viewers are probably thinking, how do we get in touch with you? Which I will come back. But I've got this. You mentioned about crowdfunding.
Yeah.
Now, for the folks who are listening to this, crowdsourcing is another venue for raising capital,
Yes, that's right.
attracting investors, but more than that, an important opportunity for everyone out there to be part of your journey, be part of your company, get a bit of that cake that you're building. So crowdfunding, is it happening now, or what's the
all right. So we're about a week and a half, 2 weeks away.
Nice.
Which will be, wait a sec, it'll only be end of May, I think, or mid-May, that we'll be looking at going for expressions of interest for the general public. At the moment, we're actually currently talking to wholesale investors, which is probably a different stream altogether, but they're very high net worth individuals. We've been very, very lucky to secure a couple of very good investors who own logistics companies around Australia. And are looking at putting a fair bit of money into this company and bringing a lot of their larger investors on board. So we're scaling up to do $1 million raise. And what we're going to be looking at doing with that money is really using it to number one, bring in fleet and a couple other new things on our app,
Nice.
which everybody will enjoy, especially the drivers. But then also, as we said before, look at really building this up around Australia, talk about interstate trucking and stuff as well. So
Nice.
there's some really big things happening with this investment money that's coming in. The good thing is, for drivers, if they are interested, they want to get a bit of a slice of the pie. I've been asked this by quite a few people. The minimum investment's actually only going to be as low as $250.
That's it.
Yeah. So, and you can get a slice of the pie. And look, for any drivers that do end up coming on board and do some investing in the business, look, let us know that you have and that you're registered as a driver as well. So when we're going into Melbourne and Sydney and places like that, you'll be one of the first people we call.
Nice. I like the fact that everybody gets an opportunity to participate, and especially drivers themselves or potential drivers, or who knows somebody who knows, and they're as 250. You be part of a company and be a champ for the company, right? And you become a cheerleader, which is really good. You mentioned about the capital will be deployed in new products and then a new arena for drivers to access or be more engaged in your platform. So it's pretty good. Now that you're expanding to other states, how can drivers now sign up to your app? Like, how do they check you out?
So as I said, we're going to be at May in Melbourne for the official launch, but we'd love to get as many drivers on board ready for that. And same in the Sydney drivers. So look, the best thing to do is seriously just go to the Courier App, which is www.thecourierapp.com.au, and simply go there, follow the prompts to become a driver. You do have a slight test, but it's pretty easy. You can do it a few times.
Okay.
And you'll also have to provide obviously your driver's license and your details and stuff like that. And we'll get you on board, ready. Join the forum, because we're going to start building our forum up. We've just moved our driver page, and there's going to be a lot of communications with drivers. We will be looking at having a in-face meeting in Melbourne, so that'll be sometime in May. We will actually come across, and there's a big boardroom we're going to have there for about 100 people that can rock up, and it'll be really good to meet everybody. So we're actually going to be out there. But simply download it on Google Play or the App Store. Just look for the Courier App and go from there. Driver, actually, because we've got a second app.
For those who are listening and also viewing this video, I will make sure that the description we add links to the crowdfunding Swarmer event, and also to the website, and also to the App Store. So click, and please feel free to go and connect with the company, download the app and give it a try. I've got a couple of other questions regarding that. Is there any particular vehicle that I should have, or I can?
No, this is the good thing. You can pretty much have any kind of vehicle. Love a lot more vans. That would be fantastic for people who've got vans out there, because we get a lot of call for it. But seriously, you can have a scooter if you want. We do have a guy who runs around and does deliveries here in a scooter. Even takes flowers sometimes. His setup is amazing. But anything from basically from a scooter through to a semi.
Nice.
We take registrations for everything.
Do I get paid instantly, or do I get to wait for a week to get paid?
No, so you wait a month. No, mate, no. I'm only kidding. Basically, once you've actually processed the job and you put through your proof of delivery, which is usually a photo or a signature, depending on what the client's asking for, that money goes straight into your bank, or straight into your Stripe account, and it'll be in your bank account the very next day.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's instantaneous.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's actually split at time of delivery.
Okay.
So obviously the company gets its share, that we have to make something, but the driver money goes straight into that account the very next day.
We were talking about how much deliveries go through your app and stuff, just for an assumption, or a little bit of a forecast, or if somebody's interested to sign to the Courier app, what do you think that they will get? How many deliveries will they get?
Yeah, look, it's probably a little bit tough at the moment, because we're not as big as we want to be. That's just the reality of it. So we've got a few drivers that are earning about $350, $400 a day on average, but then it really depends on how many deliveries are there. At the moment, we're doing about 100 a day in Adelaide. My gut feeling is over the next couple of months, that's going to be tenfold. There's just, we're gearing right up. We don't muck around with this once we've got the funds in the bank, which we know we are coming. We're going to be taking this very, very big. So we believe there's going to be a lot of work out there.
Really loved the passion they've got to build the right business, as in
Yeah.
not just doing the delivery part, which is servicing the end customer, but also taking care of the other stakeholders in the business, which is your drivers.
Yeah.
Very exciting times for the Courier app.
Yeah, it is.
One side you're expanding, two you're building up new products, and be able to bring more opportunity to the table, and you're also capital raising, which is really fun. So all the really very best. And I think anyone who is watching or listening to this episode, you want to get in touch with Jonathan or with the company, just let us know, and you'll find the links in the description. We can definitely go check them out.
And Tanya does the driver onboarding.
Oh, nice.
She's fantastic. Everybody loves her. So, yeah, you'll get on with her really, really well.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate you for being on the podcast, and we look forward to working with the Courier app more.
Great.
And that's it, folks. This is another episode, and we love you hanging around. And if you're hanging around, please go check us out on www.mygigsters.com.au. If you're in search for a community where you can share your experiences, learn from each other, check us out. We are on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, God name, whatever platforms are there, you will find us there, and you can always find a way to reach out to us, and our team will be lovely to host you and take care of you. So I will see you in the next episode. Until then, it's bye from Benjemen and Jonathan.
See you guys.
Cheers. Bye.